Cassandra Reed was married to a man everyone admired. Peter Reed was charming, successful, a financial analyst who wore tailored suits and smiled with his whole face. They met at a charity event 9 years ago, and for a while, their life together felt straight out of a fairy tale. Cassandra had been an elementary school teacher before she left to raise their daughter, Lucy. She never regretted that decision. Peter's career flourished, and their home in the Boston suburbs became a showpiece of stability. White fence, 2 cars, an ever-blooming garden. But fairy tales, as Cassandra learned, have dragons too. It started small, missed calls, overtime that didn't add up, a receipt for a dinner for 2 in a city Peter wasn't supposed to be in. She asked him once, casually, and he dismissed it with a smile. Business meeting. A client's wife joined us. But her instinct twisted in her gut. She began watching more closely. Bank statements, calendar entries, text notifications flashing on his nightstand. She saw a name that didn't belong, Ella. And then one day, while cleaning out the hall closet, she found a shoebox buried under winter gear. Inside were printed photos. Peter, smiling, holding hands with a woman who wasn't her, and Lucy, their Lucy, playing in the background of some. Cassandra's hands trembled. Her heart pounded, but she kept flipping. The woman Ella was in multiple photos. Same smile. Different city. Cassandra didn't cry. She didn't scream. She closed the box, placed it back where she found it, and sat in silence for an hour. Then she began to plan. For 6 weeks, Cassandra didn't mention a thing. She cooked, cleaned, and laughed when Peter told his stories. She even suggested they take a weekend trip, something to reconnect. Peter agreed. Meanwhile, Cassandra hired a private investigator. She collected her own evidence. Tracking devices. Cloud iCloud backups. She even set up a fake social media account to befriend Ella. It worked. She learned everything. Ella thought Peter was divorced. He'd been living a second life. A small apartment downtown where he spent weekends working. Cassandra took copies of everything. She organized them into a folder titled, "The Truth About Peter." But that wasn't all. She discovered something worse. Peter had taken out a joint loan using Cassandra's name and credit history to help fund a second life he'd built with Ella. Vacation homes, furniture, a diamond necklace, thousands in credit card debt. Cassandra's name was tied to it all, and it got darker. The private investigator uncovered that Ella wasn't just a girlfriend. She was his fiancée. He was planning a wedding in a small vineyard outside Providence. It was scheduled for 6 months away. He had created a fake identity, claimed he was an orphan, never married, no kids. Cassandra's stomach turned. She couldn't decide if she was more disgusted or afraid. She knew then that her plan had to go beyond divorce. The weekend trip was to a lakeside resort in Vermont. On the final night, she asked Peter to take a walk by the water. She handed him the folder. He opened it. His smile froze. "What is this?" "Everything you've been lying about," she said quietly. He tried to deflect, deny, laugh it off. "You're paranoid." "No," she said. "I'm prepared." Back in Boston, divorce papers were waiting for him. She'd filed under irreconcilable differences and infidelity. Her lawyer had served him the next morning, along with a copy of her folder. But that wasn't all. Cassandra had also sent the files to Peter's employer, the financial firm where he'd used company time and resources to fly to other cities. The same firm where he was up for partnership. Within a week, Peter was fired. He lost his license to practice. His name was removed from the company website. Investigations into fraud began. Then Cassandra filed for fraudulent loan activity and identity theft. Ella, the fiancée, received a court notice. It contained documents with her name as the beneficiary of multiple purchases linked to illegally obtained funds. The vineyard canceled the wedding. Ella, devastated, contacted Cassandra through the fake account. "I had no idea," she wrote. "I swear I thought he was single." Cassandra replied only once. "So did I." But Cassandra didn't stop. She started writing. A blog. Anonymous at first. It was called The Other Side of the Bed. She told stories of love, lies, and betrayal, not just hers, but hundreds of women who began to write her back. She published a book. It became a bestseller. She was invited to speak on talk shows, podcasts, panels. She created a support network for women leaving toxic marriages. And as for Lucy, she grew up knowing her mother wasn't just strong, she was unbreakable. Cassandra's heart had been broken, yes, but she'd built something stronger in its place. Love might have been a lie with Peter, but self-respect? That was real. And her revenge? Sweeter than any fairy tale ending. What would you do if you were her?